Okay, so we're back. Now it's time to move on and draft through the second body paragraph. I'm going to turn the first page over, and you can see there in the margin that this is for my second body paragraph. So Roman numeral 3 is where I made her a promise that I would run with her the next year. And so once again, for A, B, and C, I'm going to give a couple of extra details about A, a couple of extra details about B, and the same with C, so that I can make sure that I get to the bottom of this highlight mark. So I start off with the promise. In Roman numeral A, I said, shortly after her run, I promised her next year. So that's where I'll put that. Shortly after that race, she spoke to me about the fun and excitement she had at the race. She was enthusiastic. I promised her I would run next time, and never really thought she would remember this or hold me to this promise, but she did. Now, Roman numeral 2b talks about how 2016 arrives and she starts asking me again. So I have to put that in my paragraph. And in March 2016, she started reminding me that I would be on the 2016 Ragnar team. Even though fear was mounting, I had to agree. I actually thought that at some point I would be able to back out. By June, she kept asking. She was so positive and upbeat about it all. She soon brought me my registration forms. And she sent me all the hotel and trip information. She explained that sponsors would be paying for all our expenses. And all I needed to do was to train and prepare. Okay, so as you can see, this is where I come to the end of my second body paragraph. So now would be a good time again to pause the video and do any kind of catching up that you need to, or any rewinding that you need to, then come back. Okay, so we're back. It's time to talk about the third body paragraph. And so once again, I keep my outline right handy, and I'm going to move right from my outline, just adding more detail, more facts and more information to each of the Roman numerals and letters. So Roman numeral 4A is where I mentally decide to do it, but I'm acknowledging that I was scared, so scared that it just made me train extra hard to be ready. So I start by saying, so mentally I decide I must do this. I was still quite worried that I could not do this. Instead of panicking, I trained hard. I wanted to be ready. The time came. I met with those I would be riding with for the 8-hour trip to upstate New York. I did not know all the other runners, so we had a small meet and greet before we got on the road. We spent the night before in a lovely hotel. And ate a huge breakfast before heading out to the race site. I ran over my race assignments in my head. I downloaded the Ragnar Relay app to my phone so I could be tracked while on the course. And finally, I ran. So I'm going to pause for a minute and just let you know I'm on Roman numeral 4C, and I need to wrap up this paragraph with 4C talking about my sections of the race. So start again by saying, at first I was still quite scared, but they cheered for me and motivated me. When my teammates ran, I cheered for them. By the end of the second day, the race was drawing to a close. As our last team member finished the course, we all got to cross the finish line together. So this rounds out the end of my event and the end of my third body paragraph. So now would be a good time to pause the video if you need to play catch up with that. Then come back, we'll talk about the conclusion. Okay, you've made it to the conclusion. It's the 5th paragraph and the smallest paragraph. Please do not introduce any new information, but this will be a nice time to just talk about fear in general and what you learned from it or what you got out of this experience. It's just a nice way to round out the personal narrative, kind of like a resolution in a story. So I'm going to go right back to my outline. I had a Roman numeral 5A, B, and C, and I'm going to incorporate them into this last conclusion paragraph. So I start off by saying, despite all my fears, I did it. In the end, I had used my fear to motivate myself into training hard. So I was very prepared. I learned how to accept new challenges. And I also made 10 new friends. I also learned I am a team player after all. So, I'm going to stop right there because in a conclusion, you don't want to keep continuing. You want to end at a good, solid place. I have told my story. I've come to a satisfying conclusion. You know that I ran the race. You know I got something out of running the race. And you know that I have overcome my fear. So this is something you want to consider when you write your conclusion. Keep it short. Wind things down. but most of all, end effectively. I should know your essay is ending. Okay, so now take the rest of the time that you need this class period to finish your conclusion. Bye.